Hello, everybody. Love.
We are live.
Love live. Live love. That's us. From us to you. We got Tank. Wait, is that Tank or Buffy?
Oh, can't hear you.
Ralph,
Hear you.
your audio's not working.
There
you go.
Tank wanted to. He watched it last night.
Okay, is Tank a big fan?
No.
It's scary.
He was to say, I can't get. He was going to say love, but he wasn't, it wasn't working out. Woo!
All right.
So Ralph, first question I got: how did these movies for 2024 get selected? Because I was telling Marilyn.
Show some chest tonight. How you doing? How they get selected? Look at Jake. He's very.
Nobody needs to see that.
He's very upset.
Well, don't mind if I do. Get comfortable.
I don't care how hot it is in Texas, man.
Very hot in here.
Actually, yeah, I want to. As if Krystle, I would like to talk to her and you and get your opinions as resident Texas. Actually, speaking of our resident Texas, our Lone Star, Krystle Starr.
What's up?
Oh.
Hello.
How are y'all?
Hello. Too much.
Y'all.
Wow. Welcome.
That's very Texas.
Howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
Hi, Krystle.
Hey.
What were you going to ask Noah about?
Oh, so I wanted to ask. It seems like it's an interesting mix of movies because we've gone from Hellraiser to Neverending Story to Texas Chain Saw Massacre, and I don't know if I can handle this emotional, roller coaster.
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't want to do another horror movie until October.
Right? I'm like, it's March, and I'm watching the most summer, heat of Texas murdering.
I don't remember why we came up with these movies. Like we just did.
Who's we? So you and who else?
Yeah,
Joe,
seriously.
me,
I want to
Joe.
if we do this next year, I want to be on the board of who picks the movies.
You could be in the panel.
Me too.
Joe, me,
because y'all are.
and Joe and me, and then Dave. I guess Dave was a little involved too. Franchini, and then what would
he's
make?
not going to be on this. He can't be picking them.
Well, he's the one who...
Exactly. You know what? Brian, Marilyn, and I are going to pick all the movies for next year. If we're doing it again next year, Brian, Marilyn, and I. The end.
Booster's choice, man.
I was watching Barbarella every month.
Well, we've already done that one, so.
Yeah. As far as the order, that's my fault. I just picked it as far as what
we're gonna get a Christmas movie for October.
No, we have the list. You guys have the list now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, this is the 50th anniversary of...
Wait, let me interrupt you, Jake. I'm sorry.
Fine.
When I sent the list in early, like last year, Marilyn, Krystle, and Brian all gave me a thumbs up on the list. So
we did. This is probably this one and Hellraiser were my least two favorites. Surprise.
I mean, it was a quick glance. Okay, good. Okay, but it wasn't. There was no thought as to maybe we should switch some of these around.
Yeah, how am I going to feel on a Wednesday in March watching this?
Yes.
You don't think about that at the time.
So we should have done Leprechaun this month.
We do have a horror. We have a horror in July. We have Nightmare on Elm Street in July.
I like Nightmare. Is it the one with Johnny Depp?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then October we have a horror, and that's it. There's only 2 more horrors.
Okay.
Good. Today
Thank
was rough, y'all. I watched it literally today.
Me too.
Yeah, it was rough.
Very.
And just for the record, this is a true story that did not happen in Texas.
Didn't happen.
It did happen. It did not happen in Texas.
No, I thought it didn't. I thought it was a kind of a true story.
Well, it was based upon, and it happened in the 1950s, Wisconsin.
Yeah, and something he's the one who this is not a Texas story.
Yes, this guy Ed Gain.
Yeah, Ed Gain.
He's from Wisconsin. He was a grave robber. He made a lot of artwork using human remains, and they caught him. And yet he died in a mental institution because he was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when I used to start
Crazy
doing
for
like art out of animal bones and stuff. My family was just like made me learn about him.
Oh.
I stopped.
Mm.
Oh. What part of Texas was this in?
It wasn't in Texas.
Oh, filmed.
The,
He meant
the
filmed.
movie, Krystle.
Oh,
The Texas Chain
not-
Saw Massacre movie.
In like some podunk, no nothingness town.
Yeah. Round Rock, according to Wikipedia.
Is that you?
Round Rock?
Round Rock, yeah.
Wait, Round Rock is
Round Rock is popping now, but
yeah, where's
It's,
Round Rock?
some cool hipster town.
Round Rock's near me.
Oh.
yeah,
It's an hour away.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did see in the notes area that somebody bought the gas station and they're renovating it. I did not have time to look up when this was and if it is actually renovated to actually be kind of like a tourist attraction or not.
Can you imagine selling barbecue out of there? Like going and getting
Yeah.
like, actual barbecue from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre place?
I would.
Horror fans would eat that shit up.
Literally.
Yeah.
Would.
They
No pun
would.
intended.
I would.
They should do. I should open a Texas Chainsaw Barbecue.
Yeah, there you go.
Holy
And then as
shit.
an extra added flair, like on Wednesdays
Yeah.
or something, you cut it up with a chainsaw, and everybody like has to
Great
like,
idea.
oh wow.
It's a great idea.
Artisanal.
Joe could be the meat cutter.
Joe could be Leatherface.
I could just see him getting all cocky about it and then like cutting a finger off.
Which, by the way, I did laugh when Leatherface like cut himself at the end.
Yeah.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but that scene. Why did the truck driver get out of the truck
I know.
and run away? All right, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's start at the
Go
beginning.
order. Yeah, because there's a lot of those
Experiences. Here we go.
Part one.
Part one: prior experiences. Who has seen this before?
I
Oh.
don't think I did.
Ralph, you've never seen this?
No.
How did it get picked?
That's
I wanted to see it.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it. I was like, I never saw it.
Well,
Okay,
you know,
have you seen any of them in the franchise?
I never
Like
saw
Jessica
any
Biel?
Texas Chainsaw. No
the funny
Texas
thing
Chainsaw.
is
What
that
was this?
Jessica Biel.
Oh, okay.
the funny thing is that when I was looking for this to watch and make sure that I had it in my stuff, I'm like, which one is it? Okay, I know it's not going to be these 2000 ones or anything like that, but it's like trying to find the original version was a little difficult. I got
It's
to
on
say.
Prime, I think. It was on Prime.
Yes,
Yeah.
With
I
ads.
should have let you know that.
freebie.
I should have told you that when I talked to you today.
It is okay, but I think I may have seen, and I don't know if I saw it in its entirety one of the other ones. And I know someone who was in one of the other ones, but yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus,
Christ.
Ralph.
My dog, it's Buffy. Buffy's throwing her bone. Sorry.
I'm jealous of your dogs. Yeah, growing up in Texas, I feel like this was definitely a big one, and I want to say the Jessica Biel one. Was it Jessica Biel? I think it is. Like,
Jessica Biel.
okay, what year did that? Like in like the
2003.
Okay, I was about to say like the aughts somewhere in there. Yeah, that's kind of what sparked it for me. And I think there 4 or 3 or 4 Texas Chainsaw Massacres.
There's so many.
I never even knew there was more than one.
Okay, chat, you are on a mission. How many take it.
Put him to work.
Yeah, go to work. How
I
many?
thought there was just this one in the remake. I'm so out of the loop.
There have been 9 films. in the
Holy
Texas
shit.
I told you guys there's a
9
lot
of these stupid things?
Oh my god!
because people are obsessed with the story, and I think people are more obsessed with Ed Gein than anything. But this
Well,
story,
they should just do an Ed Gein movie.
well,
That should be actually that's gonna be a Zenescope comic. Ed Gein's Zenescope comic.
The next true horror mysteries.
Yes, you're Jake. You're on to something. Or a Grim Tales of Terror one, like we did with
yeah. I mean, it's basically Silence of the Lambs, Psycho, and this one. are
Yeah,
kind of
that because
3.
basically everybody's pulled from him like little bits and pieces.
Silence of the Lambs was him too.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, like what was the mammogram, the mam of something vest, like the
Mammogram?
They're called mama, like the word for boobies.
Memories.
Mammary vest. A mammary vest. So Ed Gain is like who kind of created the mammary vest, and which is kind of crazy because women today actually use that, not made out of human flesh. But women today actually use this like after babies or other things, like it's to hold the ladies up, and it's actually called a mammary vest. And Ed Gain made one out of human flesh because he wanted to be his mother, so he literally killed this woman and like he made a skin suit. That's
Wow.
Another issue.
Islands of the Lamb. Buffalo Bill. Thank you, Scott.
Put the lotion in the basket, Krystle.
All right.
So you guys who've seen it before, you knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was actually I watched it for the first time, not this past Halloween, but the Halloween before that.
Oh.
So that was my first
fairly
time.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the guy in the wheelchair had a very bad day.
That
Oh
poor
my
man.
I felt so bad for him, but also
Terrible. This guy had a bad day.
Yeah.
He fell down a hill to start it off.
Did.
I don't even know how he
I was gonna say, how did he fall?
Yeah, I mean, like whatever, like dirt or debris the truck, like the passing truck, like knocked towards him. It couldn't have been enough force to like push him down a hill.
I think it's a startlement or something like that.
Maybe,
It didn't make any sense.
I'm not
But
laughing.
the fact that this poor guy, obviously he's wheelchair bound to begin with, but he's peeing in a can. He falls down a hill. He gets stabbed by some hitchhiker. They steal his knife. All he wants to do is go home, and everyone's like, "Hey, let's go swimming in the pool. Where's that watering hole?"
That right there. That I laughed so hard, and I was like, "How wet was his face? Like so gross." It was so weird.
But the funny thing is that like he's probably the smartest character in the whole movie. Because he's the one that's trying to like, warn everybody like, oh, I don't think we should go off and, separate or whatever the hell, it's like.
But
go ahead.
It was the women that said first, or at least one of them said, it's like, I don't think we should pick this hitchhiker up. He looks weird. Like, duh. Never pick up a weird looking hitchhiker.
Yeah, that was it was a terrible choice.
My mom.
Granted, it was the 70s. For the 70s, they weren't as scared of hitchhikers then.
No, my mom used to pick up hitchhikers like into the 2000s.
Wow.
And I would be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And like, to be fair, she like picked up this old lady who was like, didn't have any shoes on and was like walking in the Texas heat. And my mom like felt bad for her. And like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of compassion for humans. I call the police. Like if I see someone who's in distress, I just immediately call the police, which my friends have told me that's bad. Is that bad to do?
To call the police?
Distress how?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I mean, like literally anything that I'm like, I should probably go help that human. I mean, like not anything like
call the police.
I'd say an old woman barefoot on the side of a desert road would probably warrant a police call. At least
I would call the police if like a guy was like holding a chainsaw chasing someone.
Yeah, they call the cops for that. But if it's like a woman or like somebody having like a psychological episode, don't call the cops. I mean, what are they gonna do? I mean,
Cookson says he used to hitchhike all the time.
I will say, I feel hitchhiking could.
That was the 70s,
and it was. You look at so many old movies from like the 40s and 50s. Everybody's hitchhiking, and you just got a few bad apples, a couple rotten eggs. Really spoil the fun for everyone.
I never did it personally, but I know it's pretty common up until I would have to say the 80s.
Now it's called Uber.
My dad did it. He hitchhiked from California all the way to Chicago to California when he was like after high school.
80s, I remember my mom was always like, don't hitchhike ever in your life. And I was like 10, and I'm like, okay.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Your mom's Fran Drescher?
How dare you?
He's a national treasure, man.
She is.
Well, let's use this.
He used to hitchhike all over the place too in chat. Scott from chat said that he used to hitchhike everywhere.
Scott Dixon, yeah.
Yeah, he said 80s. Yeah, in the 80s.
80s.
Maybe even early 90s.
No one ever saw The Hitcher. When did that come out? Well, that said, plot discussion. A perfect.
So I will say within the plot, there were a lot of like eye roll moments for me. I texted Sarah and Jake during the film, and I was like, listen, Texas is a stand your ground state. why the hell would you go into somebody's house like uninvited? The fact that like even if the door is unlocked,
So
like,
it was their house. Oh, you mean Leatherface's house?
yeah, Leatherface's house. When they're looking for the gasoline, they're like, "Oh, this guy's got a generator. He must have
like
gasoline."
if you're pounding on the door, nobody's answering, nobody's home. And you don't go in if the door all of a sudden opens. It's not your place to go in.
Well, might as well just go on inside now and oh, hey, look at those taxidermy heads. That's pretty interesting. Let me just like if he didn't go into the house, he wouldn't have gotten a sledgehammer to the head. I'm not saying that he should have gotten a sledgehammer to the head, but he wouldn't have if he didn't go in somebody else's house.
Yeah, poor Kirk.
Twitch like was so disturbing for me. Like,
oh, when he's doing the
the convulsing, yeah. He's like just clinging to life, but it's more painful. Yeah,
it was a lot for me. I didn't like it.
But
I honestly felt like this movie did a really like almost too good of a job of like showing fear. And that's what it's known for.
Mm-hmm.
But with when you're with the girls' eyes at the table, when they're just like, yes. I hated that scene. This scene made me so uncomfortable. In fact, this scene made me more uncomfortable than like any movie like that I can remember in like the recent future.
Well, that's what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's like I would have to compare.
I know it's supposed to, but you're
I mean, I would compare it to Hellraiser in that it's designed to be like this visceral experience. And, regarding, people just like, approaching some strange house and going in, like to me, the movie as a whole is like this really scathing rebuttal or refutation of like, the free love and flower power movements that were kind of like coming to an end in the 70s. Like people were like kind of settling into that. But it seems like, the people who made the movie, Toby Hooper, the director, Kim Henkel, the co-writer, it seemed like they were strongly just anti-hippie in that they
when was the Manson family murders?
That was like late 60s, right?
Yeah, Sharon Tate. Yeah.
So by that point, the sentiment like against like, these long-haired, because people were already kind of pissed off at hippies before that. But I feel like after the Manson incident, eventually everybody was like, I'm locking my doors. I'm locking my windows. Why wouldn't you? They were just breaking into people's houses.
Yeah.
And every single one of these characters looks like a quintessential hippie.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Jerry, who I swear to God is a dead ringer for Disco Stew from The Simpsons.
I love that.
The fact that you remembered his name is Jerry is impressive because I could not remember any of these characters' names.
Yeah.
What's your astrological sign? Oh, you're Saturn. That's no good.
Yeah, that's satire. They're making fun of people who think astrology is a real thing.
Yes, and I did love that part. I did.
To be fair, the sign wasn't wrong. I do think that they said something.
One of
That
their,
was
like,
retrograde,
they actually should have listened to their horoscope. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely should have listened to their horoscope. I was
That was
really
the
confused
first
at the
one.
beginning as to like why the heck they were at the graveyard, and I was like, why are so many other people at the graveyard?
What was in the very beginning audio?
Oh, okay.
Or like the news, the news thing.
And was it because someone was grave robbing?
Somebody was robbing because the hitchhiker was robbing graves and making his little displays here.
His artwork. He's an artist.
Which is what people do sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a lamp. Can I say he made an armchair using arms? And I think that's very. He's got a talent. If Leatherface had grown up in a more supportive home with a less abusive father, I feel like he could have been a wonderful artist. He could have done some phenomenal
I do like that. It's very nice. I do think the opening was very well done and creepy.
I do too. This is like one of my favorite horror openings ever because it's like, I mean, I can like, as like, the camera flashes are going off and you see like,
oof, yeah.
like, just like the human remains. And you're not even sure that's what they are at first.
Felt like, it felt like Fincher.
A little bit, I can see that. But it's like
early like a something like Fincher,
like a little Seven, a little Zodiac.
I can picture like people like in their theater seats who'd never seen anything like this in the 70s, just like recoiling every time one of the shots. I'm like, whoa.
Speaking of that, this movie was banned like in a lot of places when it came out. Like this movie was way too much. Even like I feel like even the remakes, the ones that I've seen that I remember, this one's like weirder and scarier to me than any of the remakes personally.
I mean, I know like in Canada, I think they had morality laws back then. And so, yeah, it got banned from there just based on those.
I'm sure. Yeah, as
Yeah.
it should. As it should.
Well, and also in the British film censors as well. It's 1975. Then it was released, and then it got banned again in 77, and kept getting banned. And then in 1999, it was the censors changed their policies, and then they were able to show it.
I wonder if this must have been one of the most disturbing horror movies of it. Like
it definitely was, and it's not even that bloody by today's standards, especially. There's like no blood at all. I remember like when I watched the scene of like after Leatherface puts Sally on the meat hook, and then he starts like sawing Kirk. Like there's no blood at all. And
Right.
I think that was deliberate because they were trying to get it down from like an X rating to like an R or PG-13, whatever.
I will say no nudity either, which I
none. No
I
nudity.
appreciated
Very
that.
mild.
You don't
Very
need it.
surprised about that.
And she had great movies. Like she had no bra on, so I felt like we could kind of get away with it. Not so.
Molly or Pam.
Okay, so Leonard Maltin, he said, while not nearly as gory as it suggests, it was genuinely terrifying film, made even more unsettling by its twisted but undeniably hilarious black comedy.
Oh, the comedy is what saved it for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, the last, had it not been for that final like quarter of the movie, I would have just been so like frustrated, like, don't go in the house, like stop for gas, like what are you doing? But the whole dinner scene is so comical. The fact that they keep putting this hammer into this corpse's hand, and like, come on, Grandpa, you can do it.
Like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, like, oh, come on, Grandpa, you can do it. Hit her, Grandpa, hit her.
Who's the best?
Okay, so like he's 100% a corpse because like he looks like a corpse,
But
he
he
was like,
dances.
She was really good at screaming too.
She was
She
really,
got that
really
role.
good. Yeah,
Very.
he must have thrown her voice out by the time they had wrapped shooting.
I
That's
wonder
what
how
threw my
scared
ears
she
out by
made
the time the
herself
scene
in
was
that
done.
moment.
Oh, but also I gotta say the fact she had a knife and
Yes.
she lost to a broom, girl, come on,
Yeah, come on,
it's
man.
survival at that point. Put
Right?
you in the fire.
Yeah, it's the broom part, not even the handle part. It's
Okay,
like
no,
literally
like,
the
just
bristle.
jumped through a window on the second floor, ran her, like she is terrified. I love that you have all of these on here.
Yeah, I got you, Krystle.
And she's in heels. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
She's literally in heels,
I
and
didn't notice that.
she's the adrenaline, she's coming down. So when she's getting beat by the broom, honestly, if I put myself in that situation at that moment, and I was like, yeah, I'd be done. Like I'd be like, just kill me now. Like
I just feel like a burlap sack, a broom,
Krystle, you
and
would
a
not
rope
give
is
up.
just
You
the
would
most
keep running.
basic.
now the
being fight or
adrenaline.
flight.
I'm about to die. Like I'm at peace with that. Like zombie apocalypse, y'all have fun. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved in that either. I'll be honest.
Speaking of, I will say I watched this thing with advertisements on Prime. There are so many freaking
What?
Walking Dead shows now. There's 4 of them.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Is
Well, I
Rick
got
still
advertisements for all
alive?
4 of them.
Did
They're
Rick
bringing-
live?
They brought him back for The Ones Who Live, I think it's called.
So you've got
But it-
Daryl
it-
Dixon in Paris. You
the-
got Maggie and the other guy in a city.
Oh, yeah,
You got
that's it.
Rick doing his own thing, and then you got Fear the Walking Dead. I got
Like,
all advertisements
I
during
think
the
Fear the
friggin'
Walking Dead
movie.
ending, yeah.
Did Rick die in the movie or in the show?
They made it look like he died, but it turned out he
right.
survived, and we haven't seen him for 4 years. And now they've got that mini series with him and Michonne.
Point is,
it's
too
gonna
much.
wrap up their
They
story.
stopped that show after 3rd season. That was done.
Yeah, it's overstayed its welcome. Sorry, fans.
So if I can't get through 3 seasons of The Walking Dead, I can't get through the real zombie apocalypse. Krystle, I'm with you. I'm out.
Yeah.
Point
There's
though
there's people built for that shit. You know, there's
not-
I don't know that I'm one of those.
people who train for that their whole life. Good for them.
Yeah, good.
I'll just keep reading
Go for it.
comics until
Unless I can team up with one of them. If I find one of them, which I have a better chance of in Texas. However,
Or he'll get Leatherface.
right. If I can
Leatherface
team
is
up
set
with
though.
them.
He's got a generator. They're off the grid.
Yeah, I want to team up with him. Maybe I'll wear a face of skin and I'll be his friend.
Can we actually? I would like to talk about. Leatherface was hilarious. Like I loved him. He was the fact. I felt like he was Patrick Starr if Patrick Starr was like a serial killer. Like he's just like,
God, you like ruining Patrick for me.
But think about like the noises he makes, and he's like his dad comes home and he's like, "What the hell you doing? You broke the door down." He's like,
He's like explaining, he's like gesturing, like, "Oh,
They wanted him to actually just speak gibberish.
yeah."
and that's perfect. I love it.
And what's cool is like the actor, like what's his name? Gunnar Hansen. Okay, so he took it like really seriously, even though it's like this one-dimensional role when you get down to brass tacks. Like he actually like went to like a hospital for the mentally impaired and observed them, like, you know, how they spoke, how they moved, and he actually made an effort to like craft this performance that was like, you know, authentic but also not like insulting or ableist.
Yeah.
And I think the general consensus over the years is that he like did a really good job of doing that.
Yeah,
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And going back to Ed, who his character was loosely based on, you know, he was slow. Him and his brother were slow.
and it was a troubled home too. Like their mom would not let them interact with strangers. She was very much like
Hardcore Christian, like wouldn't let them date. It's speculated at the end of his life that he was like with his mother and killed his brother to kind of like be with his mother. And I like that's why he kept the corpses and like yeah. And so I think that like bringing that element in here a little bit, like you see little parts of that with like the table and like the kind of drunken crazy father. I like it would made more sense if they like brought mother down instead of grandfather or father. But
it's like a sitcom family, like a dark parody of that. Yeah.
God. But the lamp here I thought was great. The Leatherface lamp at the table.
No, that's what I'm saying. Everything is just a small, and the fact that the armchair is made of arms.
Yeah.
He's a talented guy.
Well, and the real Ed had
mad skills.
That I mean, a lot of this was based off of you know, he had a Leatherface lamp at his house. So I like that they brought all those elements into the Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
Yeah, supposedly that dinner scene took quite a bit, and also the one that played the older gentleman,
grandpa.
Well, you know what? Supposedly he's not necessarily the grandpa, but it's supposed to be like an older brother. But he had to undergo 5 hours of makeup, and he didn't want to do it again, so they had to shoot all that dinner scene in 36 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I'd be losing my mind after that for sure.
The budget was like
that's why her eyes were so red.
They went over budget,
but it was like super low budget.
$60,000, but then they had an additional $80,000 in costs.
Yeah.
Is it that low?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was the 70s, to be fair.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, that's not bad for that budget. I mean, clearly, if that, I don't know what the remake was like.
It was a lot more polished, I think.
But
I will say, I think one of the things that worked for this movie was how kind of low budget it was. You know, it's the 70s. We're breaking out of the studios. We're going and we're filming on location. No tripods, you know, just shaky cams and stuff. I thought that it really brought everything together as a single piece.
It made it more grounded, and like it, you know, between that, just like the quality, the camera movements, and just like the fact that like everybody in the main cast was like a virtual unknown who'd only acted in like, you know, local like stage productions or commercials. I mean, that gives it like more of like a documentary feel.
Yeah. And that the poor guy in the wheelchair is probably eating a person right now.
Right? What was in his mouth?
But I think so. They got barbecue from the gas station that's run by the
butchers,
by the butcher guy. So so he's got to be eating human here, right?
I didn't even think about that. Gross. What's up, John?
But he just has this freaking sausage in his mouth for, you know, ever until he just finally spits it out and starts doing his.
I will say that at some point I half expected that he would be chewing on that, and all of a sudden, oh, what's this? What's hard? And it'd be a nail or something, you know. But yeah, it was quite gross every time I thought about it.
Chicken nugget.
So of the Leatherface family, we've got the hitchhiker, we've got Leatherface himself, we've got the cook, and then we've got Grandpa. Who's your favorite?
No.
Who would you rather have dinner with?
Probably Grandpa, because I could take him if we ever had a disagreement.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa's not doing too well. So.
No, not at all.
But do you see the little dance he does when they put the finger in his mouth?
Oh,
He does.
And I
that's
think
disturbing.
He
they
was
actually cut her finger too. That's like, her real blood. That's not like, prosthetic or makeup or anything like that. They were just like, it was such a low budget movie that they had to improvise.
Wait, they cut her finger?
Yeah.
Really? No.
I don't know if he actually
Did you read that?
yeah, I read it somewhere.
That's
was
that's
there.
not that's
Would
not
he wipe
hygienic.
it or
Not
like?
very hygienic.
No,
But
not at all.
actually, even a lot of the blood on her physically, because her running through the woods, she was
Yeah.
getting scraped up for real from all those branches and bushes and stuff like that. So a lot of it was her real blood.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Gross.
Yes.
Yeah,
But also, like, shout out to the cast and crew for the dedication.
Did she do anything else after this?
A few things, yes.
Yeah.
Still alive? I know a lot.
No,
of
she died in 2014, and she was found in her house. Her family never announced the cause of death, so we have no idea.
No, it apparent heart attack. It says.
Apparent heart attack. Okay.
Hopefully, she wasn't rewatching Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
I think she was in one of the sequels though, like one of the
Yes.
more
Oh,
immediate.
really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Marilyn Burns.
Yeah, we don't even know if the 18-wheeler driver survives.
Yeah,
No,
this
no.
was upsetting to me because he at least did the right thing, pulled over. There was just bad move. There was bad choices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like let's go. We'll enter on this side and exit on
Yeah,
that
and then
side.
they
and
had
we'll
the
go by
chance
foot.
to get back in, and then they just ran and.
Hey, it wouldn't be a horror movie if folks didn't make bad choices every
She got
time.
away.
And I did laugh when he threw the wrench and it hit Leatherface. I don't know why.
I laughed the entire scene was just, I would say, if you guys have ever seen It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and the ending is you've just got all these trucks going all over the place and people flying and throwing money over buildings, and it's just a madhouse, super condensed madhouse. And the fact that you've got this, this tractor trailer, this guy with a truck, this girl that's screaming, that goes to laughing, this dude dancing with a chainsaw, this guy throwing a wrench, this guy gets hit by a truck and gets splattered like freaking RoboCop. It's just so much goofy shit happening at once.
There's a lot of slapstick.
And what's interesting is when we were shooting our short for our movie that we're doing, the first short is Killer Hook.
No.
And Danny, we shot in the LA desert for 3 days. The same way, it was very guerrilla style in some ways. And Danny wanted to the director was very much into capturing the idea of having the night leak into day. So the horror at night turns into this daytime horror. And there's something very visceral and creepy about seeing what you're seeing in the dark in the light, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he kept referencing Texas Chainsaw.
The sunset's a really nice touch.
Well, the one thing that was really one of the other things that bothered me was she's running through the woods. It's dark out there, and he can still follow her.
And he has a chainsaw too.
I mean, to be fair, at night, I grew up on a ranch, and there was absolutely zero light at all. But the moon is actually very, very bright.
That's if there is moon.
Well, there is a full moon in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your eyes can adjust.
Yeah, I stood many a night underneath the full moon, and you don't need light.
Sure, lights. I mean, eyes do adjust to the dark and stuff like that. But if she's running ahead now, actually, it does say in the comments though that she couldn't run very fast, but it did show as if she was. But if you're running at a certain distance and you're weaving in between all these branches, how is someone going to know exactly where it is that you're going if you've got distance? Okay, maybe.
By sound, maybe.
But yeah,
over the chainsaw.
That's true. Noah brings a good point.
I will say though, I did just think it was a little silly when she's running, like, no, tree branches,
Yeah.
like it was very
was
much
normal.
she got caught in this glass cage of emotion, like, no, I can't get out.
Right. And yeah, supposedly because she ran so slow and he ran faster in platforms, and so that's why he would swipe at the branches as if he was trying to get through.
Yeah.
I'm almost a little scared that Rob Pete figured it out. the fact that follow the scream, says Robert Pete.
Rob speaks from experience.
Exactly. Oh, Rob.
Still, that chainsaw still is pretty loud, though. I mean, if you've got it right around here, it's so. I think it's going to drown out the screams to some degree.
Mm.
And either way, I will say, up until the reveal that the guy at the barbecue gas station was in on it, I was a little pissed off. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they were this close to the gas station the entire time. They could have friggin' walked to the gas station. Like, are you kidding me? It was just small little things that just kept pissing me off.
Yeah, and it wasn't a reveal. I mean, you kind of knew immediately that they were in on this whole thing. But it's funny how long it took to drive from the gas station to the house when they pretty much were able to walk there in no time flat.
Yeah.
Well, she took a shortcut through the woods.
I get that, but still.
It could be on the back of the property. You wouldn't have found it on the road.
And I will say, although I hated him and I hated the character, I appreciated like the small attention to detail, like when he's just jabbing her with a stick when she's in the bag and he's like,
dude,
laughing.
what the hell? That was like the weirdest thing.
But it works so well. It's like the fact that like he doesn't. He's like looking around like.
No.
Of course he would do that, right?
You got nothing to worry about except being killed. I mean,
Ugh.
No, I mean they did a good job of making him this like
Ultra
slimy, creepy, like friggin' your barbecue.
Mhm.
So creepy.
but at the end also she goes through that window again, but she does that so easily. It's like, get up and get moving. Don't just
fast. Girl, you run through a window and see how fast you get up.
Yeah, she did pretty well for herself. All things
I
considered.
mean, yes, I am. I'm getting the fuck out of there.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's fight or flight. If he's coming at you with the broom, you friggin' push him in the fire. You don't just let him swat at you with like a stray cat.
Well, I don't know. Like you can see her physically like come down, and she does such a good job of. They do such a good job of capturing her emotions and like when he leaves and she's sitting there alone. Like I was like, ooh, I don't like this, you know. So I mean, you could see her physically come down from that fight or flight or freeze, and she kind of freezes after going through all that. I get that.
Yeah. Well, I think we've kind of melded into our scenes category.
Yeah.
Do we want to move ahead? Does anyone have any final comments?
Let's move ahead because I just got a text from Joe.
Oh.
And he's intrigued that we should show our trailer for Killer Hope.
I do think I have it downloaded.
So let's we can show the trailer for our movie. So
let's talk special effects while I try and upload this.
Now that we're talking,
I mean, have any non-VIPs seen this one yet?
I think did we show it for the VIPs?
Yeah, we did it on the VIP stream last fall.
I mean, we showed it at New York Comic Con,
and we did it on the VIP stream.
Well,
after that, yeah.
Maybe some people. We have 84 people watching now, so we'll. I'm sure some people didn't see it. So
captive audience.
All right.
But I loved my favorite scene was anything inside Leatherface's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just eating that up. Like that was
the scene with all the feathers on the floor.
Very macabre.
Yeah. Did it not feel? It was only 80 minutes.
83. Yeah, something like
that.
Long.
It felt long for 83 minutes.
Well, that's
because it lingers on so many little things like like you said, like the scene where like Pam goes into the house, she falls into the room with all the feathers and the bones and the bone couch. I mean, like
couch.
Like in a horror movie,
taken off.
Yeah, I was never like, why isn't it not over though? I never felt that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was at a certain point. I checked to see how much was left. I'm like, oh, still got 26 minutes left.
You have to be in the mood to see this movie, I feel like.
Yeah, it's got to be the right time of year. You got to be in the right mood.
Not, according to Krystle, not March.
No.
According to all of us, not March, I think.
Yeah. I'm like chilling with like Easter baskets and stuff.
Yeah. By the way, one of my favorite little bits of Texas Chainsaw Massacre lore is that John Larroquette from Night Court, he did the opening narration.
Yeah.
And they paid him in weed.
I love
They
it.
didn't give him money. They gave him a joint, and that was his payment.
Shut up.
No, that actually happened. Cool.
How do they get that offer out? They're like, hey, John Larroquette, here's the deal.
A friend of a
We don't have
friend.
any money to pay you, but take some weed.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's the equivalent of like the
That's pretty baller
the Buffalo. What do you call it? Didn't the Bills like pay people in beer and snack food to come clean their stadium when it snowed?
I think they were giving them some cash though too. But yes, they were paying him beer and snacks.
It was the 70s. Weed was where the money was going to go anyway.
That's
That's
true.
funny. John Larroquette.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good pull, Jake. What are we? Why don't we? What time? What do we have left? Best scene.
Well, we got to. Have we
talk about
talked?
visual effects?
Yeah, we
Visual
got.
effects, very basic.
Yeah, very basic.
Basic. But there's no CGI.
I
CGI,
love
yeah.
that. And the makeup was fun. I mean, I feel like the grandpa was a little
I mean,
overdone, but
He was just a little
for that
much, but I.
Yeah.
For that budget,
They
I
couldn't
mean,
really
but-
do too many close-ups on him because you could tell that it was just a mask on him.
granted, $140,000.
No, I'm talking about the old guy.
Oh, the old guy. Okay, yeah.
and that was made out of real cow hide, right? Leatherface's mask.
Was it really?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I was asking. I assumed Jake had the answer.
I don't have the answer to
I
that.
don't recall seeing that in there.
Yeah. I'm still not entirely sure if like Grandpa was that like supposed to be his like actual skin or was he wearing like a skin mask?
I think he was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
That's what I took from it.
Otherwise, he looked like he's about 200 years old.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
I would think he also had a skin mask, but what do I know?
Yeah.
What do I know?
The plot was what it was.
I thought it was fine.
I mean, the one thing that kind of bothers me though is that supposedly there was a script, but it didn't feel like there was.
Yeah. Like I said, very, very documentary like feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, it worked.
It did.
It worked for the.
I did like when they were like looking for the watering hole and they found just like the dried up little creek. I was like, that's very Texas.
It's right down there between two sheds.
Between two sheds. Yeah. What were the guy in the wheelchair? He was screaming out one of the girls' names. Does anybody remember the name that he was screaming out?
He was screaming out Jerry quite a bit.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Before that, like, I don't know. I laughed a lot when he was screaming. I don't know why. His voice, like, was funny to me.
He had pipes. Yeah. I bet he had a lovely singing voice.
And he had a terrible day.
I also feel like the driver, like when they pick up the hitchhiker and he immediately lights the fire, like,
Yeah.
like I just feel like they did not pull over.
I mean, nobody went to overpower this guy. I mean, they like get out of my van.
What's on his bracelet? What is that?
I don't know.
Bones. It looks like spinal bones.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, like this was just a bad choice in general.
And so is that like a birthmark on his face then, or a burn mark? I would assume.
Hard
Well,
to
you don't
tell.
see.
I thought it was blood.
I thought it was blood too, because you don't really. I mean, do you see it there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
for sure.
no.
It's 100%
Oh,
there.
there, yeah. Yep.
I think it's just a birthmark.
It's
I'll be honest. That was a terrible decision.
What?
Never pick that guy up.
Oh yeah, no. I thought it was his birthmark. I was like, he has no save.
Don't pick that guy
Terrible
up.
choice of a birthmark.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I would never pick up someone.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you definitely should not pick up anybody.
Yeah.
You and Marilyn should not be picking up.
Oh,
None of
no.
us should be picking up anybody.
I don't. Not even in a group setting would I pick up a hitchhiker.
no. No.
Any final thoughts before we get to our scores?
I thought it was great.
How many chainsaws, and also show the cover and then the trailer.
Okay.
I'm excited for the trailer. This is my first time.
First time seeing the trailer.
Yes.
A lot of
And we're doing a Kickstarter for the rest of the feature in May. April? May.
I don't think so.
May.
You're doing the
Probably going
Kickstarter.
to be much later in the year, I think.
Much later. I don't know if it would be much later.
Kickstarter in May or shooting in May?
Not going to be much later.
Kickstarter probably, I would say, a few months from now. I don't know when there's the timetable on when we're going to like resume shooting it.
Once the Kickstarter is complete.
We're originally gonna do it in April, but it's not gonna work out in April. So we'll let you know.
Oh,
Stay
and
tuned.
so when you actually shoot the feature, there is a roller for me, right?
Of course. you die quickly, but there is a roll.
I've always
Hey,
wondered.
we have to cast 4 more of these things, so you never know. You never know. Marilyn and Brian might both be in it.
Yeah. Maybe Jay and Silent Bob will be in there too.
I would write them apart if they would commit. Noah's doing something.
Yeah, what are you doing now?
Let's start with
Unfortunately, the decision to download the Grim Tales of Terror movie trailer has crashed my computer. So you guys are just going to have that black box up there for a little while.
That'll be Brian's.
Sorry, Noah.
No, that's it. That's all right. This
Crashed.
was an immediate, an emergency precaution.
I could have put it up, I think, but either way, let's get to the ratings while you're working on that. Krystle, you started to mention yours. You might as well go for it.
Well, hold on. We got to see the last.
I forgot about last month's.
All right, let's take a look at last month's chart. All right. So so 2 things to note. One, the peanut gallery has been renamed the Cadets, the Movie Club Cadets, to give our loyal fans a little more dignity. Second, Neverending Story has surpassed Hellraiser with an average of 3.07. So it is now the highest ranked movie of 2024.
Where do you see that? Oh, at the bottom.
What's Krystle on smoking? What the
Let's say giving it a 4.25 or something.
4.5.
Honestly, I should have given it a 5, but y'all made me doubt myself.
4.5. Marilyn and Krystle really enjoyed Neverending Story.
I do. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. And Brian, I
Sing
would
the song all the time.
Interesting.
thank you, Marilyn.
Brian did not enjoy it at all.
No, I know what he didn't see it before, and it
I
was his
didn't see
first
that
time.
coming.
He didn't have a connection to it. I don't
Yeah, he didn't have a connection.
And to be honest, I should have given it a 4 at least. I really should have.
Let's
and I should have given it a 5.
any other charts, or should we get into ratings?
No, now we can officially get into ratings.
Okay.
Okay.
So whoever wants to go, we are rating in terms of leather faces. So 0 to 5 leather
I
faces.
thought we were doing chainsaws. No,
Yeah.
Leatherface.
Whatever.
Graphics have been made with Leatherface. You're doing in Leatherface.
Leatherface.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this a. I kind of would almost give it a 4. Maybe like a 3.5-ish.
I did not see that comment from her.
What? Why?
Yeah, I just didn't see you giving this a 3, but you saw it before, so okay.
I really enjoyed it. Like, as far as
3.5
horror
leather
movies go, it's one of the original thrashers or slashers, and I mean,
I love our graphic.
I do too.
Right? And saying that I can't go back and make chainsaws
We
now.
have really upped the budget on this show.
I liked it. I thought it was like the history behind it and everything that led to the making of it. Especially this one, I like more than the other variations of it. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I thought it was for the time and everything. Like, this was a really like crazy movie in history. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's next? Jake?
I'll go. You know, maybe back in the day when I was younger and I watched it, it probably would have scared the shit out of me and made me unnerved and all that kind of stuff. But I just cringed right through it, and not in the sense of of cringeworthy. It just it felt like so many things were forced. It felt like, all right, do this for the sake of cheat to camera so that we can get these little things and to annoy the audience in some way, you know, or get them in some way. And back then, like I said, it might have, just didn't do it for me now. And it didn't feel like there was a script. It felt like everything was just so and not documentary style, but very improvised in a bad way. Can you tell I didn't like it?
I'm very excited for the rank.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm going to have to give it a 1, and that's even too much.
Whoa! Wow! One leather face coming.
A single leather face. I didn't have to slice them up or
One
anything.
half leather face at that point. 1 out of 5 leather faces.
Oh, dead.
Right? Wow, I did not see that coming.
See, Marilyn and I were completely.
Jake, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure, I'll go. Okay, so I think this is one of these some of the best bookends I've seen in any horror movie. Like a great opening where it like builds tension, a great ending. Like I was cheering for Sally pretty much all the way through, because it seemed like anything could go wrong at any moment, and but she made it out of there alive. And then you have this scene here where she's just like laughing hysterically, which I love, especially like when set against the sunset. That's really cool. So this isn't my favorite horror movie, although I do like it a lot. Maybe if I hadn't seen like other movies that it influenced, I would have been able to appreciate it more, and it would have been like a little bit scarier to me. But I do like completely understand why it was so impactful in its day, because there was nothing like it. I mean, like a lot of people pointed out, this is one of, if not the first slasher movies ever produced. And it definitely laid the groundwork for, other slasher movies that followed. Like, without Leatherface, there'd be no Michael Myers in Halloween. There'd be no Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th. And I think like, Tobe Hooper, the director, again, he did a really good job of creating this template that a lot of filmmakers could follow. Like guys like, Wes Craven, John Carpenter, Sam Raimi, and they like, really perfected that formula with their movies, some of which we'll be watching on Movie Club later this year. And, he isn't typically mentioned in the same like conversation as those guys when talking about like the best horror directors, but I think, he deserves a place in that canon. So having said all that, I'm going to give this one a 3.75.
3.75 leather faces. Very nice.
There he is. There.
We have a 7/5 of a leather face, which is nice.
I'm missing an ear.
Noah, do you have a rating ready?
Yeah. I just pick. I think I'm gonna just give it a 2.75. I've been going up. I've been going up incrementally. I think so. I like I said earlier, I think the final part of the movie saved it for me. Otherwise, it would have just been very frustrating. I don't care if it's the 1970s. You don't go into somebody's house without their permission, especially in friggin' Texas. There was an article like a couple months ago. Some kids got shot because they drove up into some random guy's driveway.
Yeah,
people are crazy. Don't push them. Poor Leatherface
have guns.
Yeah, it could be a sledgehammer, could be a gun, could be whatever. You don't go into someone's house you don't know. Overall, whatever, 2.75. I liked it better than Never Ending Story, but only by a 0.25 more.
Yeah, this is tough for me. Not seeing it before, it's hard because it is dated now. But
I feel like it's dated in a really good way, though. I feel like it it makes it creepier.
It does. It's creepy. Marilyn says no. I do understand the significance of when this came out too, because it's shit. I mean, I wasn't like in love with this movie, but I also didn't like hate it. I don't know if I'd want to watch it again. And that I'm just gonna go down. I can't go as low as a 1. No, I'm gonna say I gotta give it its due for what it was and the budget it was on, and there are some cool things in it. And it did kind of it inspired a lot of horror makers.
And apparently 8 other Texas Chain Saw.
Remakes.
8 other Texas Chain Saw. I'm gonna just say I'm gonna give it a 2.5 Leatherfaces. 2.5 Leatherfaces. It was fine.
Right down the middle.
It was fine. This is
I didn't realize freaking Krystle's got the Leatherface.
Yeah.
You look great.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
We're off. I'm taking it off.
Oh, man.
Leatherface Krystle is my new favorite Krystle. Okay, let's. Do you want to reveal the cover, or do you want to show the trailer? You show the trailer.
So I can show the trailer.
Okay.
It's up to you. I do have it queued up. I will say
Let's
now that
do
I'm
this.
on
Do the trailer. This is the trailer of our movie that's coming out. We're filming it. We're filming the whole thing this year. We're going to be doing a Kickstarter to finish it. It's an anthology based on our Grim Tales of Terror comic book series. We're writing it. Joe and I are writing it. We are right now working on the other 4 stories. So let's do it.
All right, let's see how this goes.
You'll see the grindhouse vibe for this particular short.
And I will say it might be a little choppy just because I am on the backup laptop after having crashed the first laptop, but bear with us. Let's see how it goes.
Very choppy.
Very Zenescope.
So where y'all headed?
What's the reason for all this?
Well, there's been some incidents lately. Some local kids were murdered a few weeks back.
Hey Noah, why don't we stop it a second? Let's see if we can get a better. This isn't going to work.
Okay.
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, we know.
I think I have. Let me try mine. I have it queued up here. Hold on one sec.
Noah's like, you've had it the whole time.
You had it. I killed my laptop for you. He died. I knew the little guy couldn't handle it. I knew downloading the video and streaming and broadcasting all at the same time, he couldn't handle it.
Sorry.
Poor little Lenovo just.
Sorry, Noah.
That looks great. Son of a bitch.
No sound.
We need volume.
Some incidents lately. Some local kids were murdered a few weeks back.
Get the hell out of here before we get any more levels, huh?
They stayed out late at night. Some maniac came home. Killed both of them. Terrible shame.
I'm out. I'd be out.
Goddamn bloodbath.
Not everyone's out to get you,
Goddamn bloodbath. It's goddamn bloodbath.
That was
There you
it.
have it, folks.
Wasn't there a campfire story with a guy with a hook?
Yeah, that's what it's based on, basically.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's our first. That's one of the 4 stories. Hopefully, you guys will. What is that?
I will say if Bride and Marilyn aren't in it, I will riot.
Ralph, did you just say, what is that?
Wait, what? No, I didn't. I thought something came up on my. I hit a.
Okay.
Why? Ralph, what was that? Was that you in the hookup? Oh, I didn't see it.
What's
Yes, it was. I
him?
played the hook. No, it was not me. I would never have survived in that thing. The poor actor. That was Joe Brusha. If you're although there was a we were filming overnights, and there was a point in the night where I had to drive the cop car, so I am a stunt driver in it, and Joe fell asleep in the back. As one does in the middle of a shoot.
A nice, cozy, warm.
Very
hot car?
Was that up in Santa Clarita?
That was filmed in Lancaster.
Not
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Palmdale.
Okay.
Palmdale.
I don't think I was at that because it kind of I wasn't sure. You know locations here. It's like when you do certain things, and it's like okay, it's like this one or that one.
Palmdale, yeah, Palmdale was a dilapidated gas station that's been in a million movies. We
Fawn Ranch.
Okay. Thanks for watching that. Hopefully, you guys will be on the lookout for the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And on that note, what if we show the Elias Chatzoudis cover?
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey.
Very,
right,
very nice. Very nice.
Wait, they're bigger on the right than they are on the left.
Somehow, well, they got let out of the bra.
You were talking earlier, Krystle, about the thing or whatever.
Yeah, the thing that Ed Gein
They had to breathe.
Oh my god.
So the link is here. If you want to grab the new covers, the homage cover, do it now. Any last words from?
Yes. Before we get on to the promotional aspects, we do have some business that we got to conclude. I don't know if y'all remember, but last episode, we started a giveaway campaign so that we hit a like goal. Anyone who commented with their score of the video would be entered into a random drawing to receive this Primo 9.6 CGC Sun Kumanaki cover.
Primo.
So
Sorry.
we did hit the like goal, and we do have a winner. Are you ready?
We have a winner.
The winner is Adam Tillman.
who very recently became a VIP with us. Yeah.
He was what?
He very recently became a VIP with us.
There you go, Adam. Congrats. User-FU5QP1.
So, Adam, I will be in contact with you to get you that book shipped. Congratulations to you, sir. And if you did not win this month, good news. There is a new campaign starting tonight.
Yes.
So you have until April 17th to hit this next like goal. If we get 85 likes on this YouTube video by April 17th, anyone who comments in the comment section with their score of Texas Chain Saw Massacre will be getting this prize pack that includes a one-of-a-kind original sketch cover by Michael D. Pascal, as well as a Super Mario Lego autographed by our very own Lego master, Krystle Starr.
Hey, that's a fun one.
So that
Krystle
those
Starr autographed Lego set. Can't go wrong with that.
Nope.
So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment once this video has ended with your personal score of the movie. And that's all I've got.
Sweet. Anybody have anything else they want to mention before we get out of here?
Yes. So talking about Lego Masters, I'm not allowed to post it on my channels yet, but Australia just posted a commercial with a certain someone in it. So if you would like to go watch the Lego Masters Australia video, that way I'm not telling you who's in it, but you might see a familiar face. So woo woo! I'll tell you guys next.
Was it Tank? It was Tank.
Tank, little Tank, dude. I'm so jealous of your dogs. They're so cute. I mean, Stanley is way cuter. Let's be real.
Why are you insulting Tank? Now he's
I'm
mad
not
at
insulting him. I'm just saying my dog's cuter.
Marilyn, anything you wanted to mention
It finally has been announced that I will be in Chronic Con in
Chronic Con.
October.
Chronic.
Whoa.
Whoa. Smoking
Where's
some
Chronic
pot.
Con? How do I go?
So Chronic Con
No
will
one
be
wants to
in
go.
Chicago in October. You can go to Chronic Con on Instagram and get all the information there.
All right. So we
Okay.
got Krystle's telling you to check out Australia Lego Masters. Marilyn's telling you to check out Chronic Con in October in
And
Chicago.
chat, which dog is cuter? I see Stanley emotes. I see Stanley emotes in chat. Are there tank emotes? I don't think so.
Wow.
All doggies are cute.
Yeah.
That's literally Stanley. No, Stanley's cute.
Look at his tired little eyes.
Yeah, he's
I had to earmuff Tank because he gets upset.
when people are talking.
What do we have coming up now next week?
All
We
right.
have-
So I will say there are, in book terms, we got a brand new book that just hit the shelves today. That is Horror and Fantasy Illustrated, written by Joe Brusha. Next Wednesday, we've got three books on shelves. Go to your local comic book store or Zenescope.com. Next Wednesday on 3/27 at 7 o'clock, we have our spring break virtual con, which will feature an interview with Ralph Tedesco and Nadia Rare Tempter, one of our phenomenal cover artists.
Rare Temper, who's been doing some art for us recently.
Mm-hmm.
And then next month, we would love for you all watching to come back for our April movie club on April 25th. Spaceballs.
24.
Balls.
24th.
Yeah.
I will not.
Movie.
This is going to be an awesome one. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Do not miss Spaceballs.
Zenescope in space.
Nice.
That reminds me of History of the World, Part 1. Okay. I love you all.
Love.
Thanks to all 110 of you who tuned in.
Yeah.
With
Thank
the
you for
most
watching us.
attended, yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have a great audience next month for our next giveaway, and we'll see you while we talk space. Space.
We ain't found shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.